Okay, it's 12:06. At this time, I'm calling this meeting to order. Roll call.
Espi Ochoa, present.
Nereida Cantu present.
Armin Garza present.
Alda Benavides present.
Alex Cantu present.
Mary Hernandez present.
Dr. Science, I do declare quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Salinas. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'm sorry, for the record, it's 12:06. I said 6. I'm sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Blanca, I don't know if you got to hear that, but I said 6:06, now it's 12:06. Okay, next up, be public comments.
We have no public comments, Mr. Salinas.
Okay, so up next be the discussion of the 2021-22 proposed budget.
Thank you, Mr. Salinas. Good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin, I would like to thank all our principals, all our program directors and department directors and assistant superintendents for working on this proposed budget. And of course, also thank you to Mr. Jaime Lopez, to Mr. Ben Garza and Gloria Rodriguez. We'll start our budget work session number 4. And Board of Trustees, you have a booklet in front of you. The first page for discussion is budget assumptions. And we have Mr. Jaime Lopez, who's Executive Director for Budget and Finance, that's going to lead this discussion. Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Good afternoon. So, as Dr. Science said, we'll go ahead and move over to slide number 2, where we see the budget assumptions that we currently have. We currently have a $2.9 billion value in property values, a total tax levy of $37.3 million, a tax rate that is at 1.3110, which is composed of a 1.0443 maintenance and operations tax rate, and a 0.2667 INS tax rate. At a collection rate of 98%, we are assuming tax revenues of about $36.6 million. As I brought to you before, we are still assuming an ADA number or projection of 23,033. We've played around with the numbers, and so far we are still assuming a 2% pay raise. And as Ben comes along, he'll show that scenario and how our profit and loss statement will look at the 2%. We are still assuming $5.2 million worth of expenses for capital leases and about $21.5 million for debt service payments. We are not increasing any type of insurance premium on the self-funded health insurance plan from the employer or the employee. And we are still assuming a 0% unemployment rate and an increase of 1% on the workers' compensation rate. Two key takeaways from these assumptions would be that we are still assuming the disaster pennies for Hurricane Hanna, which will be part of our M&O tax rate. And obviously, these are still very temporary certified property value numbers, because we won't get the actual certified values until late July. So in August, we will have to come back and amend this budget with the actual certified values that we will get from the county in late July. And so at this point in time, I'll let Ben talk about the expenses and how all these assumptions are baked into our profit and loss statement.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Mr. Ben Garza, our Accounting and Payroll Service Director, will continue on the next page.
Good afternoon, Board President, members of the Board, Superintendent. Today I'm presenting to you the updated preliminary budget summary. Keep in mind this budget summary, let me change the slide there, is calculated on a 2% increase in pay for all employees. Here you'll see that we have brought down our budgeted deficit by roughly $2 million, and we're still combing through the expenses, trying to find as much as we can to bring that number further down. It has reduced we have reduced it by, again, over $2 million. You can see the updated budget deficit is at $13.4 million on the bottom total there, as you can see on the slide. On the next slide is the budget broken down by governmental funds. You'll have the general fund at $13.4 million. The special revenues, obviously, it's balanced, and the debt service is balanced as well. We are using a small portion of fund balance in the debt service account to fulfill our obligations. No money is needed from the general fund to help the debt service fund. The instructions that you can see there is out of our budget, we're spending 48% on our instruction. On our function 11, as you can see, they're at $182 million, which is half the budget that we're proposing. On the following slide, this slide reflects the impact a percentage pay increase will have on the general fund budget. With no increase, we'll be at a deficit of $10.3 million. At 2% increase, what you're seeing here is at $13.4 million budgeted deficit. And as we continue to go up on our pay increase, as you can see, so does the deficit. At 3% increase, we'll be at $14.9 million. That's all I have for this presentation.
Ben, when you're talking about deficit over here,
Yes, Ms. Ochoa.
can you explain a little bit?
That
When you-
means we do not have enough revenues to cover our expenses that we're budgeting. Therefore, we have to dip into our fund balance to cover the difference. It's like our savings account. Go back into the bank and grab what we can and cover the difference.
And how, can you tell me how that looks right now? I
It's-
mean, I know it's here, but can you
You
explain?
mean like ending this fiscal period? Ending this fiscal period, we're looking at roughly $85 million that we calculated, our ending fund balance for 2020, 2021.
And does that 85 million cover the required 3-month that we keep in the fund balance, or is that not required anymore?
It's not a requirement. It's a best practice, and yes, we do have roughly almost 3 months. Correct. The last time it was calculated was like 2.71. So we're almost at 3 months.
Okay, at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and take it into executive session, guys, so that we can have any questions that we need answered. If anybody such as yourself and anyone that has the numbers, please be ready to be called in for executive session. So at this time, under sections codes 551071, 551072, and 551074 at 12:16, going into executive session. Okay, we are out of executive session. It's 1:31, and at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to Dr. Science.
Thank you, Mr. Salinas. Our Board of Trustees continues to demonstrate that they value all of our employees and they want to retain all of our staff, and also continue to take good care of the staff that has done such a good job this past year in taking care of all of the needs of our students. So our board is proposing the following. Well, let me first say, administration proposed to the board that we give teachers and nurses a $1,200 retention stipend. Our board has approved instead a $2,500 retention stipend for all staff, half to be paid in September or when funds are received, and the other half to be paid in December 2021. Administration had proposed an $800 retention stipend for all other employees, but like I said, our board approved proposes a $2,500 stipend for all staff. In addition, our board is proposing a $500 technology stipend to be paid to teachers only in September or when funds are received. Our board is also proposing a $250 vaccination stipend to all staff that has been vaccinated to be paid in September or when funds are received. In addition, our board is proposing a 2% 2% pay increase for all employees across the board. In addition to that, our board has approved a $50 hourly summer pay rate for teachers, librarians, registered nurses, and counselors, and a $2 per hour additional pay for all our hourly employees. I want to thank our Board of Trustees for being generous and for working through this process to retain our staff. So thank you, Board of Trustees.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Okay, thank you so much. Any questions, guys, on this item? If no questions are here, at this time, thank you so much, and thank you, Doc, and thank you of all administration and everyone that has put the numbers together, and I apologize for taking it into executive session, but it was understood from all our board members that we wanted to see those numbers higher. So thank you to all the Board of Trustees, to all our administration. At this time, it is 8:33, meeting adjourned. Thank you.